Good morning. Grab your cup. It's time for coffee with Kristin and Tina. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Kristin and Tina. We're your hosts. This is Kristin Odell of Grow with KLO. I'm Tina Prigge of Vagabond Creative Studio. Thank you to Just Orthodontics for sponsoring our show this morning. And I can't figure out how to toast you. Oh, it's the other way. Pink.
Well, I have to hold my cup this way.
How's everything going? Good morning. It's like snowy outside. I just snapped this picture. Honestly, though, it's not as much snow as I had prepared myself for, so that's kind of nice.
Hey, listen, I heard Delilah is still coming through. There's still hope. I want it's snowing now. It just started snowing here at my house. I just cannot, I love like a huge giant dump of snow, like 18 inches. I hope it comes so much. I love it.
Yeah, we haven't really had a good, just big blizzard experience this winter. Did the girls have school today? Like, school was not canceled in the public district, but
No. And I'm glad because it wasn't bad out this morning. So we'll see what happens for tomorrow, but I say bring on the snow. It's still February. This is like prime snow and cold time, and it'd be fun to get out and play some more.
I totally agree. Talking about playing, we've got a special guest today. Let's have her join us. We're going to talk to Jody Kasten. She's the new executive director of the Boys and Girls Club. Let's welcome Jody to the show. Good morning, Jody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So glad that you are having me here this morning.
Yeah, we're delighted to see you. So, you know what? For viewers that don't know, let's tell people, what is the Boys and Girls Club?
Okay. Well, I guess in really simple terms, the Boys and Girls Club is a place to belong. It's really that simple. Kids who need a place to be between 3 and 7 in the after school time, and then in the summertime or when schools are out for the day, we open up from 8 until 5:30, and with the goal of helping them to feel valued and loved, and just giving them, we have programming, so I can talk more about that in a little bit.
Yeah. So what do kids do at the Boys and Girls Club? How do they spend their time? How do they feel like they belong?
Sure. We've got a power hour for homework. So that's definitely important, or they can do quiet reading. Obviously, academics are an important part of the mission here, because we want to create caring, responsible, and productive citizens, and we don't create it. Obviously, there's parents and community involved, but we definitely want to contribute to that. They can do activities in the gym. So there's sports, there's STEM. So we've got a STEM lab where we do science, technology, math, engineering. Career development for junior staff, which are high school age students, health and wellness, arts, anything that you can think of that might spark who they are and something they're passionate about that they can dig into.
I like that. And Jody, I just heard you say high school. So in my mind, when we were first talking, I was thinking just little kids. But so is there a whole age range?
So the Boys and Girls Club model is to have 6 through 18 to really encompass that whole age group. Right now, for club attendance for our members, we're serving 6 through 12-year-old kids, with the hope of increasing that 13 through 18-year-olds. But right now, the way that we're able to help with 13 through 18-year-olds is to have them as junior staff. And those are folks that are kids that are looking at a career maybe in social work or education, and then they get to experience firsthand and decide, yep, this is what I really want to do, or maybe not. And we can give them tools to help them to, sometimes you get in a dilemma. I don't know what to do when kids do XYZ. Well, we give them tools. So it's really great for their resume.
Yeah, that is a great experience. And you mentioned members. So how does somebody get involved in the Boys and Girls Club?
Sure. They come to us by referral from schools, or parents can just go to our website and sign their kids up as members. Right now we have a short waiting list because we have to have ratios, right? We've got to have the right number of adults to the number of kids to make it an optimal experience for them and to keep them safe. And so we do have a short waiting list right now, but if parents get signed up, we try to roll through that waiting list as quick as we can.
Wow. So the services are being used. How did they know, like, how did they choose to have a club in Manitowoc? Manitowoc's not the only place that has a Boys and Girls Club. This is part of a greater network, right? So
yeah, that's a great story, by the way.
Oh, we're all ears.
Okay. Well, as I've come to understand, this was about 20, maybe even 30 years in the making. There was a group of hardcore citizens wanting to, like, they were experiencing what was happening with the youth in the community, and they felt like the Boys and Girls Club was going to be the best answer to try to help with that. And so they started talking to other community members, getting things stirred up. We figured out that Manitowoc was the largest community in the state of Wisconsin without a Boys and Girls Club until now. So the club experience is so intense for some people that there are celebrities that are still telling the story about their experience at the club and how it changed in some folks' case, it changed the trajectory of their life. So I see that the club is an important tool in our community for helping our youth.
Jody, can you tell our listeners or our followers kind of how does that process work? So if kiddos are in school during the day and they're going to be a member at the club at night, how do they get from wherever they are for school to the club? And then tell us a little bit about where the club is, because it's in a pretty cool spot also.
Yes. So the club I'll start with where we are. We're at 3651 Dewey Street, which is right sharing the building with the DMV. And it's a great spot. It's also not necessarily walking ability for kids. They have to get oftentimes across Dewey Street, which is busy. The city was kind enough to put in a crosswalk for us from the park. But that's also one thing that we make sure we take the kids to the park in the summertime. So that was a little aside. But you asked about how to get kids here. Well, sometimes the parents are dropping them off. But we do have busing that was able to be set up. And we bus from 3 of the local elementary schools. So it has been a great way to get kids here, and it's helped families out tremendously. Like if you have a single parent who is working or even both parents working, then getting the kids here could be a real challenge. So that busing has helped to make that possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Jody, I know that you've got like some upcoming events. If I put a graphic on the screen, can you tell viewers and
Sure.
give us more information about what's going on? So I
Sure.
see there's a spring break at the club from March 20th to the 24th. What is that about?
All right. So that is kids when they are off of school, sometimes do not have things to be a part of or involved in, and this gives them some place to be. So we open our doors from 8 to 5:30 during that week. And we do ask that our members, they have to sign up ahead of time because we need to prepare. Kids, when they come to club, they always get food, they get a meal. They get meals when it's all day, they get breakfast and lunch. And for some kids, there are kids that experience food insecurity. That means that there hasn't been food in the house sometime within the last 30 days. And so it's a really important thing that we offer that food for those kids. So that's what happens during spring break. There's all day programming. We make sure that they get the 2 meals. And it's just an opportunity to belong again, because a lot of the kids in our community, you'd be surprised, it's about 9 out of every 10 kids don't have some sort of thing that they're a part of. They're not a part of a sports team. Maybe mom and dad can't afford what goes along with that. They or they don't have time to get them there. So, or they're not in dance, they're not in some outside club. So this is a place that they can be, and it's really affordable for the families. So that's a huge important part of this, that we make it affordable.
And I imagine too that based on that experience, there are probably lifelong friendships that are being developed, right? Like Kristin and I are always talking about networking and connecting. And I can imagine that is a great place to start that, right? As you grow up to become adults, all of a sudden you're meeting people that you've had this shared experience with.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big part of what I see when I'm out there at 3 o'clock and the kids are starting to come, and they're coming from different schools, and they're all excited to see one another because they, they've become very good friends, and it is a fantastic place for that.
Is it boys and girls from all over Manitowoc County or just the city?
So we do have, especially junior staff. We've got junior staff from Reedsville. We do have one of our members comes from Reedsville, mostly, but in those cases, the parents have to bring them. So we don't have any busing coming from those areas, but yeah, they can come from anywhere in the county.
And Kay just let us know that Kiel now has a Boys and Girls Club too. All right, that's awesome.
They do. And if I could just explain that a little bit, the Fox Valley Club, the clubs in the Fox Valley are actually, if you want to call it, the parent organization. And this is a BGCA, Boys and Girls Club of America, requirement that we were not able to charter as our own club without being connected with a successful club. And so the Fox Valley was willing to take us under their wing, and it helps us to really use Manitowoc dollars more efficiently, to be good stewards of those funds, because we don't have to have that same infrastructure of having HR and having bookkeeping. So we can really focus on the mission, and we piggyback off of what they have. Now, Kiel is actually not part of they're part of the Fox Valley Club as well. They're not considered a unit of Manitowoc, but they are in Manitowoc County. So they're a part of our big family.
I love that some of those offerings, are being made available in rural Manitowoc. We see so often that we have these wonderful services in the city of Manitowoc, but it's sometimes hard to reach the greater county. And so I love to hear, first of all, that there's these opportunities for these satellite locations, but also, Jody, that you allow people to drive in and take advantage of the services right here in Manitowoc at the big club.
Absolutely. And actually, I live in Manitowoc County. I live in Reedsville. So I feel that very much, that if we can just reach out to all of those surrounding communities, I think there's a lot of opportunity to make a bigger impact.
For the members, Jody, is there like an attendance requirement? Is it like every day you have to go? Is it just when you're available? How does that work?
Yeah, it's a great question. The membership is once the parents sign them up and they're received in as a member, then it's a drop-in. So we're available, we're open. When we're available and open, they can come. So we don't know on any given day how many kids are going to show up through our doors. Average is about 25 to 30, depending on the day. But it's a really unique challenge, and it's exciting because, like I said, we try to be staffed and ready. And if more kids would come through the door than what we had planned projects, we'd have to shift gears really fast. And we've got great staff that know just how to do that.
Jody, if somebody is watching and they're thinking about maybe an employment opportunity with you or a volunteer opportunity with you, what availability do you have, and what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Okay, everything is through our website. Is great. They could call the club as well and get connected to us that way. But we are definitely looking for volunteers to round things out. And, every kid is just one caring adult away from a brighter future. I really do believe that. I think that having more volunteers on site, people who could love on these kids, it only can be a good thing, right? So definitely that. And we are looking for another youth development specialist, which is an adult position, and it's part-time. And again, we're open from 3 until 7 every day of the week. And then when we have like spring break or Christmas break or now summertime, it'll be from 8 until 5:30. But very flexible scheduling. If people wanted to be a part of what we're doing here, we can be real flexible with all of that.
And the spring break opportunity is huge too, right? Especially if there are working parents. It's not very comforting to think about your kids just rattling around an empty house while, you're away at work. So let's talk about some of the other opportunities that you have coming up too. I know you've got more events. Tell us about the Bright Futures Club Social, which is right around the corner on March 4th.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this event. And why I'm so excited is it's a chance for the community to financially support the club, of course, but it gives a chance to come in through the doors and see this place. Like what they did with this before me, they had it all in place. It's beautiful. You walk in the doors, there's a game room area. Well, there's board games, there's pool, shooting pool, there's carpet board. So it's activities that the kids can do together and with adults. In fact, I'm going to digress for a minute. We had board members come in this last week. There was 2 days off of school, and we had board members come in and play games with the kids, and it was fantastic. Everybody had a blast. And there's people can check out our learning centers. They can check out our cafe area. We've got a beautiful gym. It's not a full-size gym, but it is gorgeous. People want to come in and see that. And we're going to have activities in all of the rooms. See our STEM lab, our art center. Every room is going to have activities to give them a good sense of what kids experience when they're here. And like I said, just a great chance to support the Boys and Girls Club. Riley Haupt is coming to offer entertainment. And it's been put on by our visionary sponsors, Kasten and ACE Building Services. So we really appreciate their support.
And you mentioned volunteers. You mentioned, adults coming in to play games, for example. Are you looking for other, adult volunteers to participate at other times?
Absolutely. We have the desire to become the #1 volunteer site in the county, that everyone wants to be here hanging out with our kids. So that would be fantastic if there are people that want to volunteer who have some time in the afternoon and want to impact kids' lives. Just go to our website and start the process. We do have background checks that are involved in that, so you need to be aware of that. There's reference checks as well. Again, everything to be as safe as possible with the kids, for the kids.
Yeah, and Jody, one thing I'll do later on today is I will go in and I'll put your website in for the Manitowoc Boys and Girls Club. Okay. If you guys have a Facebook page, I'll also drop the link in there. So if you're watching and you want a quick, easy way to get in touch with Jody or her staff at Boys and Girls Club, those links will be available probably by lunchtime today. Just to make it easy. If we've got somebody engaged, we want to have that button available for them. So
absolutely, that's great. We don't want to.
You are so good, Kristin. You are so good.
I just know I know what it's like when I need a website or a phone number, and I just wish that it was a click away. And so I'm willing to do that to make it easy and help people get connected for that. And we want as many people as we can to go and support the Boys and Girls Club. And again, whether it's an employee role, a volunteer role, playing with the kiddos, why not?
Absolutely. Also, and I just came back into my mind is during the spring break, we actually have a contract with Chartwells to provide the food for the kids every day. But when the schools are closed, Chartwells doesn't deliver food. So we've got to figure out what we're going to do during those times. Well, if we had community members that wanted to bring meals for the kids, that's definitely an option. So otherwise we go and we find the food and we take care of it, but definitely getting more of the community involved to embrace this would be fantastic.
That's awesome. So, and can that be like setting up a station for the kids to like build their own sandwiches or something like that, where it could be interactive with the kids, or would you perhaps, prefer that it's prepared and ready?
I really, either is fine. Having the kids build their own sandwich has value, right? Because then they actually are learning some skills through that. Because right now they come prepared, but they do get sandwiches quite a bit. We don't get hot meals from Chartwells.
Okay.
So they are nutritious, but it's not hot food. So I think like spaghetti meals, things that the kids would really enjoy, I think could be a nice treat. And that's what I'm hoping that we can provide for them.
So all of you sitting out there with crock pots at home, where you can put something amazing together and be able to keep it hot for them. I'm hearing this is like a winter calling.
Oh yes. I'm feeling it.
Right? This is the
And
perfect.
we're talking about the future of our kids, right? Like this is bright futures. I love this concept. And I think it's so important to give kids this connection point and this learning point. And Jody, you shared a picture and there are all these smiling faces. I'm going to put it up and just tell us, like, what are we seeing here?
These are some of our kids, and they were asked to make, you can see that they decorated these letters. If you look closely and get a chance, it says thank you. It's just them wanting to let people know that they love being here and they're thankful that people are supporting. Yeah, I love this picture.
I love how they each got to like decorate their own, and just like the uniqueness and being able to see what each kiddo sees, in their own little letter. How fun.
It's so true. And there's so many projects that we do with them where those things come out. Like we just, Mackenzie and Connor are the folks primarily working with that. They came up with a project for kids to appreciate their own beauty, their hair. They did projects around all of that. They could just really embrace themselves. And that was a fantastic project. I enjoyed watching the kids working on that in the art center. So yeah, their creativity shines in those moments.
So Jody, what happens if you have an adult that is interested in volunteering? Like those hours are kind of nice hours. It's like a couple of hours a day.
Yeah.
But maybe working with kids is not like their thing. And they're like, I wonder, is there stuff during the day that people can help prepare? Or do you have other volunteer roles kind of behind the scenes? If somebody's like, I don't love working with kids, but I have that time available, what options do you have?
Excellent. That's a great question. Yeah, we have, sometimes we have things to assemble. Sometimes we have other projects to put together. People who maybe have ideas for projects and want to share their skill set, but maybe they don't want to lead the project. They don't want to be the one necessarily doing it with the kids. All of those are options for sure.
So any type of art project or craft or any kind of talent that somebody has, they would be able to come and set up a project or share that with you as an adult. And that's something that you guys could carry forward with the kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. And if they do want to be with kids and show the project and be a part of that, all the better.
Sure.
I love it. I love how collaborative that is. And I love the idea of, adults sharing their skills with these children and then children learning those skills. You're doing such important work, Jody.
Thank you. I feel very, very privileged and blessed to be able to be doing it. There's stories of people who, Misty Copeland, who is the first African-American ballerina, female ballerina, like in the lead ballerina role. And she experienced ballet for the first time at a Boys and Girls Club. And she tells that in her story every time that she gets a chance to talk. She maybe wouldn't have gotten that exposure otherwise. And Cuba Gooding Jr., if you just YouTube it, you'll find all these stories, of how the Boys and Girls Club impacted some of these folks' lives. They don't have to end up celebrities. They can be people working, working a job, but just being impacted and influenced by what they experienced.
So yeah, right. We should clarify. The Boys and Girls Club is not saying that if your children attend, that they will become celebrities, right? Little caveat. They might. There's a chance. But
Right.
So you said, Jody, that in Manitowoc alone, they were talking about getting this club going for 30 years. So that must mean that the Boys and Girls Club has an even longer history than that. Do you know how long ago it started?
It actually started in 1860 in Hartford, Connecticut, and it was not called the Boys and Girls Club at that time, but there were 3 ladies who were watching the street kids running around, and they felt like, man, we got to do something for these kids. So they just opened their homes, and they started this whole movement that has spread across the United States, and definitely just really good grassroots movement. In 1990 was the first time that eventually they became the Boys Club. Then in 1990 was the first time that they tacked on "and girls." So that's kind of exciting too.
Did you just say 1990? Like it
1990,
took
I
100
know.
years?
I feel like it should have happened so much sooner than that, but that's when it happened.
Oh my goodness. There's no words. There's no words for that.
Right?
I love
I'm
it.
pretty sure they were letting girls come into the club anyway. They care about all kids. So
Right.
Right.
I love
Yeah,
it.
right. It was the royal boys, right? Like the yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jody, you've got one more event that we want to talk about before we have to say goodbye today. It's
Okay.
Great Futures for Kids. This is a golf outing. What should
Yes.
people know about this?
Okay. This is just a fun time to come out and support the club. And it's at Autumn Ridge Golf Course on July 24th. There's information on our website. There will be more information coming as soon as we get through our club social, because obviously we don't want to take the focus away from that first. We want to make sure that people show up for that. And then we're going to start promoting the golf outing after that.
Where will you be golfing? Where will that take place?
Autumn Ridge Golf Course.
Oh, Autumn Ridge. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I thought that's what you said. Awesome.
People can get teams together for that and come out and support.
I'm really hearing that, a big takeaway from this story is see a need, fill a need, right? Like you talked about the ladies back in the 1800s, they just started making a difference. We all have that capability to make a difference in our community by doing something that, we have the skills to do. And here's a great opportunity to support the children of our community by sharing your skills with the Boys and Girls Club, sharing your time, sharing your financial resources if you can. Jody, thank you to you and your team and everybody that had the vision to bring this together to make our community a better place.
Thank you. I'm just riding the coattails of the people before me. So,
Kristin, anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, Jody, I had the pleasure of meeting Jody and hearing Jody speak about the Boys and Girls Club a couple of weeks ago at 100 Women Who Care. And it just is inspiring to see that happening and evolving, right? And if any of you know Bill Birchie, he helped get the doors open there. He just
absolutely
such a
great
huge
man.
Yeah, he's just a fantastic human. And so we are just so excited for you to be able to go and now step into that role and bring it through the next stages of what the Boys and Girls Club is going to be here in Manitowoc.
Thank you.
Kristin, I like what you said too. I feel like here on Coffee with Kristin and Tina, we are talking to other fantastic humans, right? Thank you, Jody, for coming on to share your story.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You've been watching Coffee with Kristin and Tina. Thank you to Just Orthodontics for sponsoring this episode, and we will certainly look forward to seeing you next time. Stay warm out in the snow and keep it cool on the coolest coast.
Have a good day.